gets a free kind of like initiation. So they kind of have these two heroes that play off each other, and there's always the threat of the black hole in the fights. Whereas I feel like for Yakutou Brothers, they have a way more aggressive draft, and they catch any hero, they stun him 6 times, he's dead over and over. But if they ever get initiated on, I think it's a lot harder for them to kind of claw back into the fight.
Yeah, that's true. I'm thinking about how they want to start fights. I do like their poke. Like, I think that's what Yakutou have in spades, like just throwing out a fissure, you know, kind of popping the Night Stalker ulti, gives you the 40 seconds, the duration to play with and really choose your fight. And you've got, you know, a Muerta who can kind of stand out in front and not be super vulnerable if she can get off her spells. But I hear what you're saying as far as like the team fight development. Nemesis, they have layers to kind of build on top of. That always tends to be preferred by these pro teams, right? Different ways of playing the fights and making it work.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it feels way better when you can initiate and also get jumped and win a fight, which I feel like Nemesis kind of has the ability to do both. Obviously, you always want to be the one starting fights, right? But realistically, in Dota, you're going to make a mistake at some point. Like every single team will make mistakes. So that's why I usually like these drafts that can play both ways. Oh no, Raven. It might be fine. Tire region? Okay.
Awkwardly. But it'll be able to run home, TP back into lane. Mid, this Shaker versus Storm. You know, Shaker picked into a lot of these matchups where you just tend to kind of run away with the lane a little bit, don't you? Just because of that advantage on the totem.
Yeah, it's especially the first, I would say, level 1 and level 2 in this matchup is where Shaker really wants to kind of shine. He can lose level 1 a bit if he messes up kind of the timings on, you know, like you always want to like give up 1 CS or something because of the enchant totem, but for the most part, I'd say Shaker's advantage in this lane. But I really like how Mac played the first like wave. Like it was the way he denied a creep, which makes level 2 slower, and then that lets him get a free last hit here and there. And now for the probably the lane's just 50-50 just because of those first 2 waves.
Looking just about even. I mean, as you say, when you look at the CS early on, they're fun lane. I always like trying to find a fun lane here, Gunner. What's the fun lane here?
Fun
Probably
lane.
not the Night Stalker lane early, if I had to guess. It's gonna be top.
It would probably be top, yeah. I think if either of the support, like the Bane or the Nature's Prophet, kind of step up too far, they just die to a shards. Like there's nothing they can do. I would say bot is just gonna end up being a farm fest. Like Doom will free farm, Night Stalker will free farm, the supports are just gonna kind of look at each other and maybe try to get a kill here or there, but the most aggressive lane is definitely the top lane for specifically Radiant. I would say like Fly and Ollie really want to just survive. If they end this lane with 0 deaths, that's like a win. Even if they're even with gold or whatever, they just need to not die. The big thing in this game is specifically going to be probably the power runes. I would say the 4 rune, but more important than the 6. Storm is like one of the best mids with power runes. And so getting your supports a way to leave their lanes in a way to help kind of the mid lane is the really important kind of turning point. And honestly, both teams have really strong supports at fighting mid. The hardest one is Muerta because there's not many trees in the river. But you get a good angle and like, you know, you dead shot him, he walks in the river, you get a silence on him. Storm will die even if he's level 6.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a pretty clutch timing, right? Because usually if your lane's going 50-50, you'll be just about hitting level 6 about 5.5 to 6 minutes.
Yep.
So it's a pretty fun timing here this game. And then, you know, your game snowballs into wisdoms, starting to farm some stacks if any are getting made, which at the moment I don't see any. But we're still early on.
I think usually people liked stacking on Shaker, but I feel like there's been a lot less ancient stacks recently. I don't know if Liquid's still doing it. I know they were the team that does it. They had some like crazy stat, I think last TI. in terms of stacking, but I feel like it's a lot just aggression in the lanes more often than not, especially with these people going greedy, like Helm of the Dominator timings, where they want to rush the like Helm instead of buying these like smaller fighting items.
Yeah. Taking a bit of a bruising here. You can see the Muerta transitioning to lane or rotating a bit early, and that hasn't
lane.
really helped secure
Nature's
the
Prophets
water
here.
rune. However, 4 heroes mid just like that. A 2-man fissure from Emo. Great snowball up to the high ground. Will at least prevent 2 heroes from falling. Will it? It will. Silence not doing too much damage here, but a huge rotation from Yakutou Brothers. They'll net the kill onto the Storm.
And it's always so funny seeing the Nature's Prophet carries like TP to these random fights, because it feels wrong, you know, to see a carry just in the mid lane or in his off lane at level 3. But these skills matter a lot. I think getting, obviously you secure the water rune for your mid, you secure 2 for your mid, so your mid's already winning. You get a free kill. He doesn't really miss much either, and it's accelerating your whole team's game. It's giving your supports a little more experience. It's giving your mid a little more experience, and kills like that add up. Because if Storm dies maybe one more time in this early game, he's gonna feel really far behind, and he's gonna start feeling like their only move is to play the top.
Yeah, and look at this. Beyond, who had been left alone, taking a bit of a bruising, returns the favor now, takes down Eris. Might fall. No, he's just A-okay as we do hit our first daytime now. But that was a good timing. I always like pointing out, you know, the wave was kind of shoving in bot side in favor of Nemesis, so it was a convenient time for the Muerta to rotate away, giving them that hero advantage mid. They don't lose the hero down bottom. He still gets his solo experience, which is super important on an off laner like the Night Stalker. And here we are, you know, you got level 6 on Shaker, and you have a Storm Spirit who's in the jungle, needing to, you know, stay a little bit more protected so he doesn't get ganked again. Approaching the 6-minute runes, and it looks like they'll be going to Dire. However, Beyond, he's going to be in some trouble now. This time, they'll bring an additional hero. It's going to be Jing from the top lane, assisting Akashi for that kill underneath that tier 1 tower.
They brought 3 heroes, and the trade-off for it is that they have to give up a power rune, the 6 rune, but I don't think they would fight it anyway, because with the just disadvantage that the Storm has versus the Shaker. Plus, I think he hit level 6 kind of a little too late. It was like, you know, 5-10 seconds too late for the 6 rune.
Yeah.
So, worthwhile trade. You know, if you're worried about fighting the rune and you can make a play to get a kill, it's always worth it. And now's the big timing. It's the 7 rune, or it's like the Wisdom Shrine, and
yeah, I see Tusk looking to, he's angling to make a move down bottom potentially.
they want to dive bot lane.
Yeah, it looks like he's underneath a ward though, so that's a heads up ward in the Dire secret shot. Meanwhile, we actually see a smoke rotation. Ward planted down by Ollie. That's a sneaky one. Raven in trouble here. He's gonna break the smoke. Fissure is gonna get him on the other side. Still walks back for the Echo Slam, and Fly joins the fray. They've taken down Raven already. 3 versus 2 with Mac now showing up to fight. The Shrine already claimed though by Ollie. He'll be glimpsed back likely into his death here, Gunner, but the damage done. And in fact, with Emo looking to return, still playing with that double damage. Sorry, amplified damage. They're going to have to give it.
Oh, and the Tusk is here.
Oh, hold on. You shall not pass, he says. Builds over those ice shards. Blood grenades thrown in. Lots of auto attacks coming in. Fly, he will drop. Not enough damage on that enchant totem auto attack. So Jing, he's going to be able, no, cannot escape. But it's Raven to close the door. He will at least be able to take down Emo. Double kill then for the Disruptor. All said and done there. I don't know, two Wisdom Shrines still going the side of Yakutou. That's not so bad, but losing the mid laner and the carry, that's gotta sting.
I think it was fine. I think if they left instantly and didn't kind of have this thought of like, oh, maybe we can turn around to help the Bane. He's taking a long time to die. It would have been good, but yeah, even with getting both Wisdom Shrines, I don't know if that's worth it. The Storm getting kills as well for his innate ability, getting these like galvanized charges, getting more mana regen, scaling a bit more. That stuff adds up quickly, especially when his game wasn't the best and I shot up all the way. He's top net worth now. Even though that big gank mid like doesn't matter anymore. Sure, it's like Fly's game is okay still. Like his game is pretty good, but he is countered by the Storm. If there is any hero in the game that he's worried about, it's Storm having a good game. And I feel like they didn't really shut him down the way that they had to.
Speaking of that storm, he's got problems coming his way. Harris leading his mid laner on a little bit of a smoke maneuver. Fly behind the tower is gonna run right into it. He's got Ollie nearby to try and buy him a bit of space and time, but Ollie does not have the grip, and he's got 2 enemy heroes to worry about on himself. Fly taking on down Ollie, being dove under his tier 1 tower. We'll make it a 2-for-none trade there, as Nemesis likely to take the tier 1 to boot with those drums online for Raven here. Had those in that last fight as well.
And this is the matchup, right? Storm versus Nature's Prophet. It was basically their instant response to the hero, and
She's dropping that dew, making sure that he can't get off that Dark Ascension. Careful here though, Fly here to fight, and in fact, pretty decent fissure onto 2. Good damage being dealt. They take down Jing. Beyond eventually still goes down as there's the Echo. That'll give the damage as Akashi's body is booted away into the laning stage. Mac, he's TP'd in here, and in fact, being able to pull back Fly here, that's good damage. Look at these Eidolons. They can't get an additional attack in, and that's going to do the damage. I don't believe it. The Eidolons chased him down there, Gunner.
Could he really not outrun them? I don't know if it
didn't look like it.
I feel like he probably had to be able to outrun them. I think he just kind of maybe didn't respect the amount of damage they were doing to him. Or the heroes are slow.
Yeah, boots that NP? He's got his boots.
Yeah, he's got treads.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right.
I think if the Nature Prophet didn't die, that would have been a really good fight for them. But kind of with him dying at the end and the storm living there, it ends up being pretty even.
Catching both supports Fly. He TPs directly in from the fountain. Good damage on Eris as Emo blink reveal on in. Takes down Eris. However, in trouble still here is Ollie joining the fight as well from the side. There is no Doom, so they're a little bit more eager to fight, but they don't really have the spells here, Gunner. All of a sudden, the black hole committed, interrupted here immediately. Emo on a second fissure is going to catch all 3 heroes. That's the kill on a Raven, a 4-time streak as well, as the Shaker able to blink away. Mac joins this fight a little bit too late to change things. It's a 3-for-1. Great fight from Yotoku there.
I got worried. So the Nature Prophet TP'd in, and then I don't know if it was planned, but the Disruptor kind of held his glimpse, and he instantly glimpses the Nature Prophet back out of the fight, so they're just down a carry. And the black hole getting canceled, the Emo just kind of cleaning it up. I mean, this is kind of what I was talking about in the draft, is that a lot of the games end up being these like really quick 5v5s. Part of it's people buying Dominator, part of it's people picking all these like Aura heroes, these Nature's Prophets, the teleports, like Dawnbreaker is getting picked a lot, or this like early game damage mids, like Shaker, Storm, Quap, and they're just kind of proving that it's just a numbers game. I think that kind of what Nemesis's biggest issue in these fights are that they're always like one hero down, or a hero's a bit like slow to the fight and they only show up after one hero's dead. Like in that fight, Mac was there pretty late, and then I think even the bot tier 1 defense, Mac was a bit late too. Like he only showed up at the last half. I think a lot of these times, if they're able to show up at the same speed as the Yakutou Brothers, then it'll end up a lot better than them.
Yeah. No, I mean, I see that. Just, you know, Storm's got this kind of awkward early game hump to get over when he's still building his first item, right? That's always kind of been... He's
like, that a holy locket?
That is a holy locket. I was gonna say, that's a diadem and a holy locket recipe coming his way. All right, Akashi. In the meantime, I believe he's gonna consume an Echo Slam. That could be a little bit of a serious siege coming. There is a glyph. Wait, but holy locket, huh?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about the holy locket. I remember doing the math on it, on the like amount of mana regen you get because of the free stick charges. And it wasn't great. I think it was like it's like 2 mana per second ish, or like 1.8 mana, something around there.
With the galvanize, with the soul ring and the tread swapping,
I get if
he's got the mystical
like
enchantment.
Kai would have to be better, no? Like Kai is definitely more mana regen and more damage because the spell.
It probably scales better. I'll say that. Maybe he's just feeling like I need to be able to zip that much further. You know, I need to be able to have a little bit more reach for my team.
The thing is I think the actual like active of it gives you the same amount of mana as a wand. Like it still heals for the same okay, it's 17 instead of 15, I believe. So it's so he gets 40 more mana from a full charge.
That adds up. That adds up, Gunner.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
That's an extra 5
the way
units
I could
of
see
zipping.
it is okay, I'm thinking this through. There's a lot of random stuns and like silences, and he wants to build it to be tanky. So he pretty much can like zip in, and then he can holy lock it himself when he's half, and it'll heal him for more than a normal wand would. So it's kind of like a mixture between going first item BKB and also having a mana item, because it's effectively bonus HP while still getting mana. That's the best that I can do. It's interesting though. I do not think I've ever seen it.
I'm hearing you, Chef. I'm hearing you. However, I think a lot of people would say, all right, why don't you just get a Kaya and Sanj?
No, I would have also gotten Kaya and Sanj personally.
I like it though. A little bit of ingenuity here. Who knows? Maybe it's the first of many. We'll see. A little bit of experimentation here in game number 1 between Team Nemesis and Yakutou Brothers. We've hit a little bit of a lull here, Gunner. We had a very active early game, as you tend to with these kinds of heroes, the Shaker Blink, the NPT PNN, the Dark Ascensions. But it's been calming down a little bit here as we're starting to hit some more of these items. Mac, first item Locket is kind of the...
he's got his timing.
He's got his timing. I mean, he's been using it. We'll say that. It's 6 charges, up to 7. There it goes. There's the mana regen. But elsewhere on the map, what are we building here? That's a Radiance for the Doom being built up. That's a Pipe of Insight nearly ready, I see, on our Enigma.
Yeah, I think the Pipe is a big timing.
Smoke.
I don't think Max should get caught by this. This is kind of an obvious smoke. Usually, the two big timings, I remember, I learned this from, I believe it was Falcons last season. I watched a lot of the replays, and it was when Astino was working with us. And it was the two big timings for smokes are runes.
Wink Echo.
And
All right, silence right on top. They're going to try and turn this
the
around.
locket.
The locket. Oh, it was so close. It was so close, honestly. It was a shocking amount of HP.
It was a lot of healing.
It was a lot of healing, but he's still
tanky.
going to go down, unfortunately. Let's see how the rest of the fight now works out for Nemesis without the mid laner. Not so great so far. No chance for a snowball save there, as Jing in his dying moments reaches out, takes that extra little bit of gold for his squad, as Akashi can do nothing but run away, and Midas another creep on the way out. Okay, well, he ended up getting caught there. You were saying about the Falcons' timings, though.
Yeah, it was Siege and Power Runes are the two timings that people smoke at, and I was hoping that Mac wouldn't go for the Power Rune, because it's like, obviously you really want to contest it, but if you just think about where the enemy's been and where your team is, he was kind of alone. Like, sure, if he had one of his teammates there, the Tusk was a bit closer, the Disruptor was there on the jump, he was fine. And the Holy Locket would have been like, you know, we would have been talking about this for years, but since he kind of went alone, it ended up not mattering. And so it not only gets him killed, but it gets both his supports killed, and you force both of your other cores to have to rotate to try to help you survive this fight. And your choice to go for the Power Runes, 1,000, 2,000 gold just loss for your team overall. It's just like this really big move, I think. And a lot of the times these aren't really considered, that when one person makes kind of like a mistake like that, how much it hurts the whole team, because usually teams will react to everything together, and you don't always notice the amount of net worth in the game, but you can like feel it eventually in like 2 or 3 minutes when you're like, oh wow, they have this full item already. Now we need to farm a little more and slow down the game more, and they're like counterbalance to take a good smoke.
You're totally right, not to mention, you know, against a hero like this NP, pushes out your waves, your map gets difficult and constricted. A nice smoke move here from Nemesis, though. They'll go through the gate. They'll find that NP a second time up here in this top area. That'll help open up their map a little bit more and give them some more space and time.
I think at this point, they just want to delay for the Radiance. The Doom Radiance matters. It's pretty big, honestly, for like damage reduction purposes, because Shaker needs to hit, Night Stalker needs to hit, Nature's Prophet needs to hit, Like all of the heroes, even Huerta does a lot of damage with right clicks.
Careful, black hole onto 2. Blink Echo, no, they're gonna catch 3 of them. The BKB revealed from beyond. The AoE silence, leaving Mac no option but to fall and die. They're trying to TP away from this fight, but the second fissure is there. Sets up beyond for the double kill, and it might just be 3 as Eris. He cannot run from the Night Stalker. Oh, he can glimpse him, but the auto attacks is still gonna come out. A beautiful fight there from Yakutou. Emo perfectly positioned to turn that engagement.
Yeah, and it's a, what, 18-minute BKB and Helm of the Dominator for Beyond.
Yeah, he's big.
It's one of those things where you see the BKB, like surely they click him and they see it, but you don't really respect it, right? Like the second that the black hole gets canceled by just a random like fissure, it could have been canceled by Bane, it could have been canceled by Muerta. Like any of these heroes cancel it and he gets this BKB off here, they're not gonna kill him. And so, you know, Emo is right place, right time. Just gets a free fissure, gets a free 3-man echo, and it's getting scary now. This chain stun, this like inability to kind of have a hero that goes in first is hitting Nemesis a bit right now.
Yeah. I think it was Baboka I have to give credit there to on the calling. I think he had a very lovely silence that ended up actually canceling Black Hole. But really, really nice plays. Good positioning. Yakutou responding very easily here so far in this game. 20 minutes in. Children picked up as Roshan. He's going to go over to his night home. Should have some more action down bottom. Now, there is no Black Hole, but there's also no Dark Ascension. Second BKB ready to go. That's a very nice catch. Fissure's going to be off the mark here quite awkwardly. All of a sudden, Beyond caught on the wrong side. They're going to be able to get their hands onto the Bane, who's quickly going down. A Doom now onto the Night Stalker, but the silence already out prevents Mac from jumping away. Now a lopsided fight as the Echo ready a second time here. Emo takes down Akashi, looking for more as well. 2 cores dead for Nemesis. That could be the tower as they've only gotten their hands on the Bane. Oh, goodness. It's starting to really slip away here from Team Nemesis here in game number 1, Gunnar.
Yeah, I feel like they had such a solid early game. A lot of these like good rotations and kind of constantly taking the fights back and forth. But I feel like it was that one slip up at the 60-minute rune that kind of just like slowed everything down so much. Like both cores showed up, it slowed the Enigma's timing, it slowed the Doom's timing, Storm died, both supports died, and ever since then I feel like they really haven't had a good fight. I also think it's just the fact that Mac wasn't able to show up early to those 2 fights, like around the tier 1 and in his jungle. And I just think that they're getting a bit outnumbered in a lot of these fights.
Yeah, and I don't want to keep harping on it, but it is a deviation from the build, so we'd be remiss if we didn't, you know, kind of talk about how this has panned out. The locket, right? More of like a flop it, I think, in this kind of a game. Not really working, I would have to say. Because of that 16-minute timing, right? I think maybe that was the time it should have shown, but it just didn't.
Yeah. Again, I think if his team was behind him, it would look better, but it's one of those things like if this and that happened, then it's good.
Raven just ran down there, no chance to escape. Plenty of control coming from Emo if necessary. That's beyond a godlike streak here. I mean, he's had quite the game on this Night Stalker, right? It's this Helm of the Dominator allowing a lot of these offlaners to get that huge injection of gold, gives them that map pressure on a hero like this who can just run down these supports. He's been pretty happy.
Yeah, and I think his lane wasn't amazing at the start, but Helm of the Dominator is just such a crazy item right now when you think about the amount of gold it gives. It's what, 45-second cooldown, and you instantly kill the creep, get the gold and the XP. So it's basically, in terms of if you use it off cooldown, it's the same as using a Midas off cooldown. Oh. Wow. Okay, that was pretty sick. I didn't think he was going to get away. Trying to steal the Aegis on the Blink Dagger, still manages to somehow evade the death of 3 people. Nicely done. Nicely done. But the factor of Dom that makes it even crazier is that you actually do get the creep. So you're farming faster because you have a creep. You're also farming, getting a free Midas. So it's a better Midas, which is why everyone just buys it. It also gives you the helm for the lane. So it makes your laning stage a lot more stable and solid. It's kind of similar to when people were going just Ring of Health on every offlaner.
Right.
So it's kind of just like a ring of health, and it gives like okay stats. It gives you 6 all stats, which you know every hero likes. It's just this item that gives you a lot and has no drawbacks. It also gives you tower pressure. Like that's why all these tier 1s die so quickly these days. It's that you just bring all the heroes, you bring your 1 dominator hero, maybe 2 if you're feeling spicy, and then you just take every tower. It gives you this more space to farm, more camps to just get free Midases on, and it's like this whole big snowball effect.
Yeah, definitely. And then like with a mid laner like a shaker and a safe laner like an NP who can kind of take advantage of the vision that you get, you know, opening up the map even more for your team, I think just allows these games to kind of get to this stage, right, for Yakutou Brothers, where it's like Nemesis, how do you even find a fight? Like, it's not like this kind of a draft where you can just hold the cliff ward and then let them come to you, because once they see you, Dark Ascension's going to equalize the playing field. I mean, they're trying it around here, you can see, but Ollie moving in is going to remove that observer. And I guess it's just going to have to be a high ground defense. And speaking of high ground, I mean, it's a fairly solid high ground defense roster. You know, Blink Snowball save behind. You've got the Disruptor to kind of pull people back.
It's okay, but I'm just worried about their like multi-target damage. Like sure, Storm and Doom can jump a guy, press Doom, and hopefully kill him. But then, like, what's step 2? You have to hope here Enigma gets a good black hole, even though he's playing versus 4 different heroes that can cancel it before BKB. And even with BKB, if they don't catch the Bane, that's another hero that can cancel it through BKB. So I'm just worried because I feel like the Nature's Prophet had to get more abused with this draft. Like his early game did suffer, but then I feel like they gave him the ability to show up to a bunch of fights and like get these free kills back to back to back. Whereas I think in an ideal game, we would have seen Mac show up to the fights that the Nature's Prophet showed up and killed him. So it's kind of like their response to Nature's Prophet stopped responding to him after the laning stage, I would say.
Yeah, now, I mean, gold lead's really starting to add up, isn't it, for Yakutou Brothers? Almost 26 minutes in, we're going to get another power rune in here. Still about, you know, a minute and a half, a little more there on this Aegis for Fly. But it's a 14k net worth lead. 12 to 22. Haven't really seen Nemesis look to make any aggressive moves, and we probably won't for the next 90 seconds while this Aegis is still online. That graph certainly tells a story there. Last hero to die 5-6 minutes ago on Yakutou's side, it was the Bane.
It was just the Bane. I think the fights are takeable though, because the Doom now has Radiance and a BKB, so he has his timing. I think it has to be some angle where they kind of bait them to dive in a bit too deep. Maybe the Tusk does a good snowball save on the Storm or something. But basically the Doom needs to be able to go in full health with his BKB and actually be able to right click and do damage to heroes. If he uses his BKB defensively and kites.
Speaking of defensive BKB.
It's not good.
Yep.
Unfortunately. That's not good.
That wasn't the first step of your formula. Well, who's he got to Doom though? Like, who's the important Doom player? Or is there any even this game?
I think if he gets it on Shaker before Echo's used, like Shaker blinks in, he BKBs the like initial stun and then dooms the Shaker, or even Night Stalker, and they're able to actually 100 to 0 the Night Stalker with like a stun or two.
So you just
you have to kill one of those two. I don't think Nature's Prophet you can care too much about.
He's been scouted here in the trees. He's in trouble there. Under the calling silence, rooted. He's A-okay, but the tower gone for free. Can they glimpse anyone back? They're certainly going to try. It's Fly.
3 seconds
Low on HP with Aegis expiring in a second, but a beautiful Nightmare save. BKB active Mac. He thinks this is his time. Fly trying to TP away. There's nothing to cancel. The Fissure perfectly stopping a potential Walrus punch, but the fight still okay, not great after that Echo Slam. That's going to be 3 dead by Nemesis Beyond. He's going to man up. BKB running them all down. Doom for what he says, as it's Beyond godlike with the double kill, and Raven, no opportunity here to escape, no opportunity for the Black Hole. He is the last to go as Fly rejoins the fight on full HP and is going to take down these barracks. I mean, a decent effort there on the expiration of the Aegis. Well timed by Nemesis, but just not enough. Just not enough there.
I think they're just lacking the damage. The pipe on Enigma I think would have been good if the game continued to be even. Pipe is usually an item that the second you fall behind and it ends up not actually saving you from these fights, it feels really bad. You're just some guy, you walk in, you press pipe, and then you still see your whole team die in front of you, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess this doesn't really do much.
You know, ultimately, there was a BKB on Fly, so not much would have been different. But being able to nightmare and sleepwalk through a wall, you know, that's one heck of a sleepwalker right there.
Yeah. Even just using it on like Tusk shards.
Yeah, it's true.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I brought this guy up as like a save. He does feel a lot more. I've seen this used a lot in a few games as just like this kind of really powerful save against these normally very disruptive abilities. Like even being able to sleepwalk over your own fissure can sometimes be incredibly useful in fights. We'll take another look at it here. Just free.
Yeah, if he didn't get moved just that little bit, he would have been stuck in the shard. So even if he got the BKB off after, he would get punched there and he would have died.
That's a really good point.
Honestly, the whole fight was kind of set up because if the Nature's Prophet dies there, it means that Storm doesn't have to full commit with his BKB. It means that Doom and Enigma don't also have to like commit. He can't TP back in and cancel the Enigma's blink. So it kind of changes the whole dynamic of the fight. At best, they would have forced the Nature's Prophet to buy back if he had it, and he would just like show up and kill everyone anyway. But it's a big loss, right, for them to just not have any pressure like that at all in the fight, because they get nothing now.
Yeah, they get nothing. They lose the barracks, and at least they didn't buy back. But here's Akashi, Beyond picking up. I mean, what is he? 14-2-8 now. This man is having one heck of a game. I mean, he's almost more of the carry at this point.
Yeah, he's got Nullifier. He's got everything he could want. He has Blink, Nullifier, BKB. It's 30 minutes. That's like that is a crazy amount of farm. And I don't even know what Nemesis can do at this point to just get damage. I'm not sure what items they can go that help them either start the fights successfully or have the damage to just win these like random engagements that are happening on the map. Maybe it's Ag's Disruptor, but that's so far away. He hasn't even started working on it yet.
Look, I'm seeing that, or I'm seeing like they need to force a really awkward fight for Yakutou, which is just it's so hard, right? Because they've got that vision, they've got the repositioning that's pretty strong, a few blink carriers. Like maybe an Ags on this Tusk, kick someone like deeper into the base, and then you got a static storm and a kinetic field to prevent anyone from saving them. Like that's the kind of stage I'm seeing in this game. I don't even know if they can take a fair fight around Roche. Normally that's not like a bad bet in games like this, but just because of the Dark Ascension vision, it's gonna feel so oppressive. We'll see though. I mean, this would be a nice jump. Fly's courier is be able to kind of scout him out here. He will be jumped in first, but there's gonna be Ollie from the high ground, doomed up, still trying to TP away, and they have no way to cancel that one, not even with the glimpse. Beyond now fighting inside the static storm as Ollie, Emo laying down the thunder there with the Echo Slam. That's 4 dead. GG dropped as Raven will be the last to go. Oh, what a clean game number 1 here for Yakutou Brothers.
And I feel like this game feels